Now, we've all been there before. You're at the house party, you're playing beer pong, and you got the mix just right. You're in the zone, you're on a heater. You're not too far gone, but you didn't just walk in. You can just feel it. It makes sense. The numbers and the angles and the shapes are all coming together. That's how I feel the SEC is right now when it comes to conference scheduling and structure after Texas Athletic Director Supervisor Conte, the hot sauce baron, all but said we will have a 9-game in-conference schedule by 2026, which adds another great thing on top of the SEC and most conferences around high-level college football in getting rid of divisions as well. Now, the reasons for excitement are pretty simple. It gives us another great matchup in an already loaded conference. It's adding Texas and Oklahoma. It makes it even easier for each team to play one another at home and away over a 4-year career, which is the whole point of scheduling. And hopefully, it will alleviate some of the ridiculous crying from the SEC haters out there that we hear every year during that one cupcake week at the end of the season. That argument should die a bitter death. Having to play 9 games in this conference is like getting jumped by trained ninjas with baseball bats. This, plus, like I mentioned, the loss of divisions, is the perfect mix, not only for the SEC, but for every conference, and most have followed suit, like I said. Now, if there is a downside, it's that we'll have to wait until 2026 as they sort it out. But the groundwork has been laid to the perfect conference structure. And I, for one, am super duper ecstatic about it. So, just like in the story of Goldilocks, who we all know should be in prison for a simple breaking and entering, this porridge is just right. David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver. Not official yet. He said it, and we've said this for the last 2 years. It's not a matter of if the SEC will go to a 9-game in-conference schedule. It's a matter of when. Obviously, you add more teams, you can add more games. This plus the doing away of divisions just sets up perfect. Do you think it'll end the cupcake argument that 1 week where everybody plays a kind of down team as you get ready for rivalry week?
No, because the argument from other conferences about the SEC not playing 9 games has less to do with the SEC and more to do with themselves.
Yeah, insecurity. Somebody's calling. Oh wait, it's insecurity.
The SEC could play an all SEC schedule like we saw in COVID.
Well, just maybe we won't hear Joe Clack cry about it for an hour and a half.
Or Danny Cannell.
And we love Danny
both
Cannell.
Guys.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for both of them. But God, it's just
it has gotten tiring. But yes, of course, this will make it tougher to make that argument. And this should have happened. First of all, before I forget, good on you calling out Goldilocks on the B&E.
It's a simple B&E. She should be. If anybody else did that, we'd be in jail.
I can't wait to hear what.
2-tier justice system. Us and Disney characters.
Yes, and I mean some of that criticism has been fair before because this is the premier conference in college football. We want to see them play a 9-game schedule. This had to happen. You're adding more teams. At a time when you're taking divisions away, usually when you would add more teams, that's when a division would get created. So you could have a winner of an East, winner of a West, or winner of a North, winner of a South, however you do it. Now we're taking divisions away and adding more teams. To crown a legitimate champion, you have to add more games. A 9-game conference schedule in the SEC is going to be exhilarating throughout the schedule. A couple things here. I find it interesting that it was the Texas AD, Conte, who broke this news when they're the brand new team. I wonder if there was any other schools around the conference saying, hey, you're new, keep your mouth shut.
Well, let's say he wanted to come in and maybe flex a little bit.
Maybe flex a little bit. Also, some teams have already scheduled 4 non-conference games in the 2026 year and beyond. I don't think that's going to be a holdup at all. You just get out of those contracts here and there. So I think this is the right move. It's going to be exciting, and the strength of schedule is going to go up. And you could see situations where 9-3 teams are making a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, and the thing that I look at when we're moving to this 12-team playoff format, Blaine, is that at the end, we see this in college basketball. If you're a team that's trying to get in or trying to improve your seed, you want to play good teams at the end of the year because it gives you an opportunity to get quality wins. You're going to start hearing that term a lot more in college football. And being in the Southeastern Conference, outside of Vanderbilt, which I hope they turn it around with Professor X, a.k.a. Clark Lee, out there, if you're trying to get in as a 9-3 team, if you're 8-3, going into that last week or that extra game could be the one that puts you over the hump. Could it be the one that knocks you out? Yes, but you want opportunities to be able to win games, to control your own destiny and put yourself in there. You add that with, again, the more teams we add in conference reduction, it's not conference expansion, eventually I think there will be no non-conference games when we end up with the two mega conferences of ESPN and Fox, if you want to call it what it is. But just your thoughts on it, man.
Yeah, it's huge. And to be honest, I mean, you brought it up earlier. Let's go to La Traverse versus Jackson, 284, 822, made in 1954. Breaking and entering is defined as entering a building through force without authorization. All right, the slightest force includes pushing open a door. That is all necessary. So it brings us back to Goldilocks is a criminal.
No, well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Goldilocks is a criminal. She deserves to be in jail.
Well, that's what I said all this, not to deal with sports, but just to get to the fact that she should be in prison.
I know.
Peter Pan should be in prison.
Facts.
Goldilocks should be in prison. And you're lucky. Wait till I look into Winnie the Pooh.
And to be honest,
all right,
the
rumor
people
has
who
he's out there
took the groundhog,
murdering people in the
that's
woods.
kidnapping.
Yeah, that is true.
So they
and
should
put the
be in
top
jail
hat
too.
on him. Now tie it into a 9-game conference schedule. Finish the thread.
I mean, okay, if you're going to break and enter,
Yes.
all right, how do you break and enter the playoffs? Okay?
There we
a
go.
9-game schedule.
You'll always do
All
right
right.
here at Creating
You
Company.
need, well, you're right, you need late big wins. You don't want to schedule anybody easy because if you are a 9-3 team or an 8-3 team, it's going to come down to the little specificities of whatever the college football committee want to make up when they get there.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, your left tackle got hurt. I saw him eating a Capri Sun for lunch.
Yeah,
I can't let
you
you
guys
win.
APR.
So it doesn't really matter what the schedule is. Does it really matter what you do? Because the playoff committee is going to find whatever it is to not put you in or to put you in.
Well, I think it does. I think it makes it, a much stronger, more concrete argument. But we're going to see. There's nothing about this I don't like. I don't think there's any, other than the waiting, like I said, but I'd rather have to wait and then get it right and get it set up perfectly for the future as opposed to just throwing it all together. We see what happens when they do that with NIL and the transfer portal and some of the other stuff in college football.
We're going to start in with Porter Osborne Jr. Porter, what is up? Says, I'm for a 10-conference game schedule if it does away with the stupid SEC championship game.
Why is the SEC championship game stupid?
Interesting.
Don't look, Porter. I kind of understand what you're saying, but let's be easy with the conference championship game. I like keeping the conference championship games. All right, because then it's just going to be it's going to turn into the college basketball regular season, but there's no tournament at the end to determine the winner. We're going to have to go through. Billy Bob Thornton's going to have to meet some random dude at a gas station to flip a coin to see who won the SEC. I'm not trying to do that. I want that conference championship game. I don't think we should get away with that. If we go to an all-conference schedule, great, fantastic. In my opinion, if you get an expanded playoff, if it goes to 16, I think you're going to go back to an 11-game schedule, and it's going to be an all-conference schedule because you have 11 games, conference championship, and then the playoff. Hell, they may knock it back even to 10. It may be like a COVID situation, which I don't want that for the regular season, but I definitely don't want to get rid of the conference championship.
I'd rather see 11 premier matchups than 12, and 4 of them are against FCS schools.
Idaho Tech.
Let's go to the Dog Man 1 in the Rumble chat. What is up, my guy? SEC will still make sure they play the sister of the poor 1 week during the season. Always fun watching Alabama destroy the 10 Bits Pee Wee team.
Well, it's funny to me because every other conference, you got a couple teams that are like that. You got one in the SEC? Like, no offense, Big Ten, Indiana isn't scaring anybody. Okay, I can go down the list of teams and conferences that are absolute trash. All right, look at the ACC. Wake Forest isn't scaring anybody anymore. Boston College isn't scaring anybody anymore. Like this, again, this is all people have against it. It's the only thing they can say against the SEC, and it's not true. Just look at the strength of schedule. Now you're going to add another SEC game? This feels like again, Blaine talks about, the guy that's 5'4" that drives around in a monster truck, right? You're compensating for something.
Jeff?
Some of y'all got to get off this, you play one cupcake opponent outside of the gauntlet, and you have teams like LSU that played Florida State. I mean, we see the teams that Bama played Texas. Some of y'all need to just stop with this. It makes you look, it just makes you look like a member of the Lollipop Guild that thinks he's going to go to the NBA. It's just not happening, bud.
Just go look at Florida's schedule.
Yeah, go look at Florida's schedule and then shut up.
And this is 2 years away, right? That's what he said earliest. So 8-game schedule this year, 8-game schedule next year, possibly 9-game schedule 2026, which makes sense because the last time we had the conference expand in the SEC 2012, they took 2 seasons.
Missouri and Texas A&M,
and then 2014 permanent schedule. So two years would make sense here.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Christopher. He says, just make it a 10-conference game and have a 4-team playoff in each conference.
That's interesting.
So you would end up
Kind of what the end of the season.
Well, you'd
becomes.
get to 12 games. You'd get to 12. So it'd be the same. The most you could get to would be 12, quote unquote. I don't know if you call the 4-team tournament the regular season. You couldn't, but the most you would play is 12 games through that stretch before you got to the playoff, and that would encompass the conference championship game. I don't.
So with no divisions, you'd have to do like the 1 seed would play the 4, the 2 would play the 3, and then have a championship.
Yep.
Work.
YouTube, what's up? If you haven't hit that subscribe button, just do it. Please hit the like button or turn that notification bell on, or just, I don't know, something like that. Live your life.